Hello, I am Undead Matt, and welcome to my macabre movie mania. Tonight, we finally talk about a creature that is long overdue on my show. That is the vampire. But not just any vampire. The sexy vampire. So I bring you everybody's favorite sexy vampire movie, The Lost Boys. Yes, The Lost Boys was...
Master, the movement of the eventide already covered this movie.
Oh, she did? Well, maybe have a new, different, interesting take on the movie.
No, you're not clever or interesting at all.
I am too.
No, you don't even have a way to end this bit.
Yes, I do. Lost Boys is brought to us by director Joel Schumacher. Joel Schumacher? Really? This Joel Schumacher.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
This Joel Schumacher. Well, I guess Spider-Man is right.
Everybody gets one.
Yes, it is brought to us by Joel Schumacher. The initial idea for Lost Boys was Peter Pan, but with vampires! With the initial script calling for the Lost Boys to be 8-year-olds and Boy Scouts. Once Joel Schumacher was brought on board, he insisted that the Lost Boys be aged up and sexy. So we get the teenage Lost Boys. In July of 1987, we were finally given The Lost Boys, bringing us another Corey's movie, as well as everyone's favorite version of Kiefer Sutherland.
I think we should let Michael know what's going on. Yeah. Michael?
The movie begins with a newly divorced wife moving to Santa Clara with her 2 sons. And Santa Clara is known as the murder capital of the world. Of course, that's where my summer house is. But this town is a little strange, a little off. And it has a roaming gang of leather-clad motorcycle riding teenagers. Hey, wait, is that Bill S. Preston, Esquire?
Good night, bloodsucker.
No!
Excellent! The older son, Michael, literally and figuratively falls into the bad crowd. Later, these teens would reveal themselves as vampires. While Michael is falling in with the vampires and being turned into a half a vampire, his younger brother Sam meets the Frog Brothers, who are vampire hunters.
Hey man, read this.
I told you, I don't like horror comics.
Think of it more as a survival manual. There's a number on the back. And pray that you never need to call us.
Ooh, at a comic shop. Another nerd on this channel might enjoy that. But we don't discuss him. Michael is turned into, in this lore, is known as a half vampire. You don't become a full vampire until your first kill, but you start getting the powers of the vampires, of flight, immortality, an aversion to sunlight, garlic, and of course, stakes to the heart. The Frog Brothers realize that they have to kill the head vampire, then all half vampires will be turned back to normal. So, thus begins an 80s suit-up montage to get the head vampire. It is revealed that the head vampire is the man currently dating Sam and Michael's mom. He is trying to seduce her into being a vampire and a mother to his 20-something-year-old boys. I mean, they kinda stuck with the Lost Boys theme, but it falls apart a little bit. And eventually, crazy old grandpa comes smashing through the window, ending the final vampire and ending on a very 80s last line.
One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
The Lost Boys was a huge hit, coming in at number 2 on its opening weekend, only seconded to James Bond's 25th anniversary movie, The Living Daylights. It made $32.2 million on an $8.5 million budget, and won a Saturn Award for Best Horror Movie. And it is well regarded as one of the best vampire movies of the 80s. A decade that is very much filled with many, many vampires. But is it actually good, or is it just 80s nostalgia run amok? I'd say it's a little from Cauldron A and a little from Cauldron B. It is a solid movie with a decent foundation, keeping the vampires as villains, as most sexy vampire movies tend to forget. The vampires are immortal undead beings. Also, keeping the theme of never growing up, keeping that Lost Boys theme going, was very strong, and let's not forget a very kick-ass soundtrack. But some of the clothing and references is a little dated and a little cheesy, and it is a little bit of the 80s style over substance. This is a very stylized, interesting movie. So, you have to take a little to give a little on this movie, but it is still very solid to revisit today. The head vampire, Kiefer, who was named David, was meant to return for the eventual sequel, Lost Girls, but it was never meant to be. But since Lost Boys was such a popular, well-regarded movie, a sequel was inevitable. And a mere 20 years later, we get the official sequel, Lost Boys: The Tribe. And 2 years later, we get Lost Boys: The Thirst. Both focusing more on the Frog Brothers and the return of Corey Feldman's character. They both don't have the best reviews, they're not that good. And as of right now, there is no plans to continue the Lost Boys franchise. So we just have the Lost Boys trilogy. Or let's just stick to the first Lost Boys, that's the good one. Lost Boys is a classic vampire movie and a classic 80s movie. It still holds up today if you can handle a little bit of cheesiness, and again, that style over substance that the 80s was known for. But it is still a good watch today, and keeping the vampires creepy and scary is a great touch to this movie. And Joel Schumacher would never make a good movie again. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll I'm late for my appointment, where I'm going to get a sweet 80s mullet.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of Macabre Movie Mania. What'd you think of The Lost Boys? Is it actually good, or is it nostalgia run amok? Let me know in those comments below, and hit that thumbs up if you want to see Kiefer play a vampire more often, because you know I do, and make sure you share this video with everyone possible. That would turn them into a half vampire. And remember, I vote on my episodes of Macabre Movie Mania, so make sure you follow me at wizard_Matt to make sure you get your vote in for the next episode. And if you're not too busy, check out one of these two very awesome videos. That would help me out greatly. Thanks again.